Bud Wilkinson invented winning. And here at Oklahoma, we uphold the standard. This is the Champion Standard Podcast, where analytics meet film and the tailgate fuels the passion. Touchdown! From deep dives in the film room to advanced stats that tell the real story. Ready? We bring Sooner football into focus like never before. The roar of the palace on the prairie, the legacy of champions, and the pursuit of the next one. It's all right here, so lock in, because this is Oklahoma football. This is the Champion Standard.
Let's go! Let's go! Go!
Hey, Sooner fans, long time no see. It's been a few days. Welcome back. I'm joined tonight by 2/3 of the trench warfare fellas. JY and Rob are on here. No Alex tonight. You got me instead. I apologize. I know a lot of y'all are disappointed. We're not going to do the traditional trench warfare tonight. We're just going to talk about a pretty big game coming up here in about 48 hours. I still can't believe it's Friday. It's like it's here.
Yeah, came up quick.
Came up really quick. A rematch. I really didn't want a rematch, but it is what we have. So we're gonna just have to beat the 4 teams in front of us anyway. So we might as well start somewhere, right? Beat them last time in Tuscaloosa. I guess that was around November 8th. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. In Tuscaloosa, we won 23-21. We got outgained that night, but I think we won the turnover battle. If y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Plus 3. Was that plus 3?
I think it was +2.
+2. Okay. So we needed a little help that night to get the victory. So we got them on our home turf, and history's being made. We got a playoff game in Norman. JY, what is that? Playoff game in Norman. Did you think you would be hearing that anytime soon?
I was hopeful. I mean, at the beginning of the year, you remembered I talked about how cool it would be if LSU and Oklahoma came in undefeated.
I remember that.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen for either team. But at this point in the year, I think the Sooners are playing with house money. Outside of people from Norman or Oklahoma fans in general, I don't think anybody thought they could be here. So, I mean, I think they still got something to prove. It feels a lot like 2000 in the sense that the team plays with a chip on its shoulder. It's not always pretty, but they just find a way to get it done. So, Norman's going to be rocking on Friday night. I wish it was a Saturday game, so guys and gals had a chance to tailgate all day.
Right.
People are taking off work. Still, it's going to be packed and all that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I'm 5-6 hours away, can't make it down there, but that would have been something. If it was a Saturday game, that would have been just something to see, just the environment. Game day is going to be there. It's going to be rocking. I don't know if they're going to be able to have recruits there, how the NCAA does that.
I don't think so. Yeah.
With it being an extra home game, there's additional revenue there. So that's definitely going to help. I mean, that's a big deal. So I didn't think we'd see a home playoff game this year, to answer your question in a long-winded sense. I thought that, if they got in, they would probably have to go on the road. And even still, I figured, I'm always kind of looking over my shoulder a little bit, just a little hesitant, thinking they're going to find a way to screw us, because the offense hasn't looked good.
Sure.
The last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, or really half the season for that matter. And they're going to make us go on the road to South Bend or Miami or wherever it was, or back to Ole Miss. I mean, so, it's cool that you get to have an extra home game. Almost wanted to have a road game just because this team seems to play a little bit better on the road, but it'll be awesome for Sooner Nation. That place is going to be a hornet's nest on Friday night.
It is. It is. I don't know how they can make it feel different than a normal home game, playoff game. I don't know if there'll be some different things in the stadium that are noticeable or anything like that, but yeah, it'll be crazy for sure. Rob, I know you got a few, questions that, you want to throw out there for us to talk about, but one thing I was looking at last time we played them, we gave up like 400 yards of offense. And then Georgia just held them to 210, and Auburn before that held them to 280. So my question for you guys, if we can't get the turnovers like we did the first matchup, what's the over under on yardage that we need to keep them under? 250. Does that sound like that kind of? I'm throwing a number out there, and I wanted to get y'all's opinion on.
I think 275, 270. Yeah, around that 250, 70 mark. I think really it's maybe not the total yardage, but maybe just the explosive plays. You look at some of their, Josh Cuevas had some really big, had that big touchdown grab. That was a good 20, 30 yarder. Total yards probably. I agree with you that 250 yard mark, and then just if they don't find those explosive pass plays, they're not going to win this game.
Yeah.
That's just their MO of winning is just finding all these 10, 15, 20, 30 yard touchdown pass plays, because they can't run the ball worth a lick. They're not that classic Nick Saban mentality. We're just going to run the ball 30 times. We're going to out physical you. And if they were, they would have been smoked by Georgia as they were. Georgia played more Alabama football than they did. And so that their identity and mentality has changed. And those yards for them, if they can get to that 300 yard total yards and find those explosive plays, they're going to be rolling. They miss some big opportunities. You forget. They had a lot of these drives, and you had that pick six where they flipped the field. They had that missed, blocked field goal. They had all these miscues. They shot themselves in the foot. But if our defense being at home and the familiarity now of this offense, studying it as much as they have, and Brent knows exactly what DeBoer is trying to do, and he's just going to try to get his guys to see the same thing he sees. So I think if they can keep them on that 250-yard line, 250 yards or less, and limit those passing explosives, we'll end up, even if we don't get the generated turnovers, we can win this game. Yeah. And of course, we have to keep the ball too. We can't turn the ball over.
Yeah. Yeah. I was speaking in terms of like a neutral turnover, battle. Jay White said something earlier. I totally agree with him. This team has been road warriors. If you just look at 3 games, let's just say Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina earlier in the year, they played really well with those games, and then came back home and struggled a little bit. So they kind of need to play with whatever edge that is that they take on the road. If they can somehow pretend they're in a road environment this week, I think would help that team play with a little bit of edge on defense and maybe the team in general. But yeah, Rob, you had a couple of questions you were going to throw out to us.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so just throwing it out there. Who feels more pressure Friday night? Is it Alabama trying to prove that they're still Alabama, or is it Oklahoma and Brent proving that this last win wasn't just a fluke? That they're here to take care of business again, no matter if they played them once or 7 times. Who feels more pressure on Friday night?
I'm going to let JY go first on this one.
It's kind of hard to get a feel for a pressure thing, because both of them come in there in the middle of the pack. One's the 8 seed, one's the 9 seed. So this week at least they're in the middle of the pack, or towards the back half of the pack, actually, on the 12-team grouping, if you will. I think that if there is pressure, it's probably more on Alabama and Kalen DeBoer than it is on Brent Venables, because Venables seems to have had his number the last 2 times they've met. And you guys were talking about turnovers a little bit ago. There were a couple of turnovers that the Sooners should have had that they left on the field right after the pick six. And there in the second quarter, you had the pick in the end zone by Robert Spears Jennings that got nullified by the Kendall Daniels mistake. And then you had there in the fourth quarter, before Peyton Bowen's big play, there was a time where they hit Simpson and he almost threw a pick. So, and there were a couple of other times too, that they could have had more turnovers. So I think, everybody wants to point, and I hate how people do this, but it's people are people. So it is what it is. But a lot of times people say, well, if you hadn't had turnovers, you hadn't had this and you hadn't had that. Well, I think the turnovers that Oklahoma generated were forced turnovers. You look at that, the pick six. I mean, that was great where they rotated the safety down, and they dropped Eli Bowen back a little bit and it mixed it up. And then you had right before that, I think it was Kendall Daniels hit the guy right on the ball and caused a fumble out in the flat. It may have been Kendall Daniels. It might have been Reggie Powers. I'm not real sure. But the play right before this one was the fumble out in the flat where they reviewed it. And then you had the fumble on the punt also that, Jaden Hardy punched it out. And then you had, Taylor Wine makes a hell of a play jumping over the center and blocking the field goal on the one play. Then you had Robert Spears Jennings picks it off in the end zone and gets nullified, right? So you had over and over and over, and then Taylor Wine on the strip sack. That, and you look at it from that standpoint, everybody's like, oh, they outgained them by this, that, and the other. Okay, you had a pick six. You had a strip sack where you get the ball on the plus 30, I think, plus 25. So they're being really conservative with it. And they're just sitting on it because their kicker is, he's the Groza Award winner. And then you had the other one where the other hidden yardage, but they don't want to bring up, is the big Isaiah Satania punt return, right? That gets you down to the 30. So from an execution standpoint, and we went over it on the one trench warfare deal where we broke it down, if Mateer stays with the play and gets up in, on some of those quarterback counter plays that they called and things like that, and didn't get outside of his blockers' leverage, the offense is more productive. But even with all that, you got 3 or 4 drives there that started in plus territory or it just nullified it. So there's only usually 12 drives in a game. So if you're taking a third of the drives, and let's say you make them touchdowns, you make them all touchdowns, right? So what is that, 120 yards? They still outgain you by 150 yards, right? Or whatever it is. So, I mean, I think a little bit of that's overblown, but I'm not saying this is going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a tough, gritty, as Venables and the team likes to say, it's going to be grimy. And I think they want it that way. They want to boil it down to who's tougher, who wants it more, this, that, and the other. And the one thing that nobody's talking about that Oklahoma's they've had 3 weeks off. They've had 3 weeks off, and rumors are coming out that Mateer doesn't have the brace on his hand anymore. And I still think that he hasn't been right since he got hurt. He hasn't been right.
Yep.
He hasn't been able to hit the layups. He's been inconsistent, and I think a lot of that has to do with him having to think about his grip more than thinking about the play and trying to just play free and see what's going on. He's probably had to consciously think about his hand a little bit, and it's thrown him off. I mean, that's just my tinfoil hat theory. But like I said early, I mean, I think the Sooners are playing with house money. I think they're going to play free.
Yep. And
I think DeBoer is probably looking out the window a little bit because Michigan still hasn't filled that job yet, right? And it's funny how there was a lot of smoke and then, what if the seat gets hot? What if the Sooners come out and beat the snot out of them, and then you turn around and now all of a sudden, hey, guess who's going to Ann Arbor? I mean,
Right.
you don't know. You don't
Right.
know
Right.
what's going on with agents and everything behind the scene and all that. But I know it's long-winded, but I think the pressure is squarely on Alabama because everybody hates Oklahoma. I mean, you look at everything. Nobody wants us to be there. We are the
Yep.
team that nobody wants to play.
Yep. Yep. I like being in that underdog role and stuff. I agree with Jay Wide, Rob. I think OU's playing with house money, and we were the team that wasn't supposed to be here. So that gives us that mental edge. I feel like where Alabama's expected, every year to be here. So I like the position we're in just from that aspect, being underdog. I also like it, just thinking of DeBoer and Venables like in the locker room with the players. I can't speak to how DeBoer handles his team in the locker room. I've never listened to his speeches or anything like that, but BV just gets 120% out of his players, and I don't get that same vibe from DeBoer. I don't. And again, this is me from afar. I don't follow Alabama football like I do OU football, but I just can't see. I just can't get that same feeling out of DeBoer that he's that kind of coach that just really gets his players wanting to run through wall for him type of guy like BV. But that's just my opinion.
No, I don't think DeVore's I don't. He's not the raw, and he's not the passion. Oozing passion, just in like the fire. You don't feel the fire from him, and I don't know if he's got this team of his really locked in, ready to go travel after they just got beat by Georgia in a physical game to come into Norman and play another physical game against even more physical defense really than Georgia's and play for 4 quarters. I said it on the boards. I feel like Alabama's just I think they've got some doubt in their mind, and I just think that playing against this defense, that doubt is just going to keep growing in their head to where they're going to make mistakes, and they're not going to be locked in and engaged as our team where this team has taken on the personality of their head coach. I mean, everything about Brent as a head football coach and a teacher and a coach, all that, those players are exuberating that on the field for 4 quarters all year. They've been the team has been incredibly consistent. They've had 2 bad quarters all year, the third quarter in Texas and the third quarter at Ole Miss, and really that's the only real bad football this defense has played.
Mm-hmm.
And to get this Alabama team psyched up to play us again at home, yeah, I think Brent is going to outcoach him again. I think the chess match is going to be Brent winning again. We got a question here.
Yeah, I saw that.
My 1982 Boomer Sooner JY. Give us your X factor if we beat Bama again and how do we beat Bama again and get back to the Rose Bowl?
I think the X factor is just going to be the makeup of this team mentally. I think that this team feels disrespected, especially the defensive line, linebackers, the front seven as a whole. You have the best defense in the SEC by a lot of measurements. That's not just my opinion, right? By a lot of measurements, I think the Sooners have given up 15 touchdowns compared to the next closest SEC defense is 24, which was Georgia. So, you've got, at the end of the day, I think that it's always going to be an emotional game, and I think it's always going to be filled with guys who were told by somebody somewhere somehow that they weren't good enough, they weren't fast enough, they weren't big enough, they didn't have the right mental makeup, they were too ugly, too fat, too short, too tall, whatever, right? The fuel to the fire, right? So it's always going to be filled with guys that have something to prove, that say, okay, you don't think we can do it. find a safe place to hide, go over there and sit down, hide behind your little rock, and watch us beat the hell out of you. And it really feels like that. There have only been a few times that I felt this way leading up to a game, and I'm not saying it means anything. I might be wrong or whatever else, but before the 2003 Oklahoma State game, I felt this way, where, you know, it was the Les Miles let her rip game, you know, and you end up beating the hell out of them 52-9. You had the 08 Texas Tech game that I had that feeling, you know, where they were going to come in and just how they just didn't match up well. And, you know, I got that feeling again. I've got it now to where I just believe that you can X and O it to death, but Wilkinson said it. The core of the game is a fight, and if anybody doesn't want to be in that fight, you're not going to win that fight. And I just don't think right now, if you wanted to square it up in the parking lot, I have no doubt in my mind that the guys in Norman let's play in the parking lot. I don't think they care where they play. Whereas I don't know, you know, and of course I'm not in Tuscaloosa and I'm not around that program as much, but I don't get that sense from them. I just don't. I think that they feel like that Oklahoma got lucky, right? I think that they honestly believe that coming in, that if they just control the mistakes and just be ourselves and just go through the motions and all this stuff, Oklahoma really isn't that good, guys. They're just not that good.
I hope that's their mentality.
I really believe that's what they're talking about right now.
It would be.
I mean, everybody's talking about that.
Serious trouble. Yeah,
And
serious trouble.
The other X factor, I think, is the development of these young offensive linemen. Eddie Pierre-Louis, you got Fasusi, you got Foji, that now, after 12 games, they're not freshmen anymore.
That's right.
This
That's
is
right.
like having a mini bowl practice session to where everybody's able to get healthy. X-Rob's going to be healthy this time. He wasn't healthy against them really the first time. Torrey Blaylock is going to be better off than he was in the first game. Mateer's going to be better than he was. In the one, you know, from a personnel standpoint, in addition to that, Keontez Lewis is going to be in there. And early in the season, he had probably the
really
best
good
connection. Yeah. He had the best connection with Mateer early in the year before he ran into the wall. And the one guy on top of him that nobody's talking about, mama, there goes that man, R. Mason Thomas, right? Probably the best player on the whole frickin' team didn't play the first time.
That's right.
So, you know, I think there's several X factors, but I just think that the makeup and the mentality of this team is going to be the biggest X factor in my mind. I like how the bracket shapes up. If they can survive this week.
Agreed. Totally. Yep.
If they survive this week and they find a way to survive against Indiana, and I like the matchup if they get past that. There's only one team in the playoffs right now that scares me, and it's not who we're playing Friday.
Nope.
So
I would guess, is it Georgia? Is it Georgia, right? Yeah, it's Georgia. Like Georgia's on. They are.
Yep.
Kirby Smart, just the way that he builds through the season, and that team mental, like we've talked about mentality, the team Georgia in September is nowhere close to the team that's here in the playoffs. They are mean, they are nasty, put you in a phone booth and beat you up. That is like classic, you know, we want to say Saban type, but Smart's been doing it for years. Saban just always edged him just a little bit to get those wins over him. Smart is as a hell of a coach, and I'm glad when we saw that we were doing that instant reaction on the bracket, we saw Georgia on the other side. We were so happy. We were like, yes, we got the right side of the bracket. We don't have to play Georgia, and if we can fight and claw and get our way into the national championship and have Brent and this staff a couple weeks to prepare for them, that would be, I on the boards. I said I'm thinking it's going to be an OU Georgia championship game. And I just think the path, and I don't get me started on Indiana. I think Indiana is incredibly overrated. I think the Big Ten in general is just incredibly overrated this year. And just go take care of business on Friday night again. Go beat up on Alabama, and I think the rest of it will take care of itself. And I think playoff football, I've said it on pods before. I don't think we've seen the ceiling to this defense yet. I know that sounds crazy, but this is playoff football brings out the best out of everything. Once you get it at zero, your record 0-0, and the physicality is going to raise to a whole nother level. And we've seen OU kind of flirt all year as being one of the best units of football throughout the entire season. But now with this stage where 98% of football teams are not playing, they're all sitting at home. Like they might have little bowl games and stuff, but being in the top 1-2% of teams playing right now makes those players are going to go into another level. I'm thinking we're going to see a defense that is going to prove itself to be the best unit in the playoffs on either side, offense, defense, the best unit on either side. And I think they're going to go take care of business. I think it's just, it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait. It's exciting.
Yeah. If we do beat Bama and match up against Indiana, just think the last time we played the number one team in the country and a Heisman Trophy winner. So, a little maybe history repeating there and getting that same opportunity. That would be the ultimate. You touched on it earlier, Jay, why this team just plays with an edge. They're underdogs. And if we go into that Indiana game, we're going to be monumental underdogs as far as the national media is concerned. They're going to say this is the biggest quarterfinal mismatch on the board. We're going to hear it for a week or two. And I just think our team would completely feed off of that. And the Hoosiers don't scare me. Y'all said it. Georgia scares me. I mean, if we're ranking teams, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Texas Tech 3, and everybody else to me is just the same.
Mendoza is overrated, man. Like he wins the Heisman, and the last 6 games he's played, he's only thrown over 20 completions once in the last 6 games. That's your Heisman. You go look at like all the Heisman quarterbacks, they never had a stretch where they could barely, they were, you see those completions stacking up because your coaching staff is saying, we're putting the ball in your hands, we're winning through you, you're going to go and get us points. And you see that Indiana offense, they can just nickel, dime, and run the football very well. They don't have to really rely on him to win games. And that Big Ten schedule that he had was weak. Like they played nobody, and they hit Ohio State, who sent like half their team into the league. So I think, they're having a great year, a school banner type year in Indiana, beating out Ohio State for the first time in 37 years. Great year, fantastic year for them, but they're still non-bloods, a non-blue blood, and everyone really on our side of the bracket is non-blue blood. We just got to knock Alabama out on Friday. That's the one goal. It's just to do what we've always do, and that is end Alabama's dream and send them into mediocrity. Like we're gonna have an opportunity to send this Alabama program and Kellen DeBoer into mediocrity. Like go give them their 4th loss of the season.
Yeah. Jay, why you mentioned, we've been off for almost 3 weeks come Friday. So do you think offensively, because obviously defensively we haven't seen a lot of struggles, so that's not what needed to be worked on the last 3 weeks so much as the offensive side of the ball. Do you see us getting back to the basics? And you mentioned Mateer may not have, the wrap on his hand anymore. Do we just get back to the basics and hope that we can just execute the offense that we've had installed all season? Or does 3 weeks give you time to install some, different wrinkles.
I don't, and I agree with you, English. I think Fabechi does have a little bit stronger base in the comments there than Michael. He's got a little bit more lead in the shorts. But to answer your question, I think that the offense just has to focus on execution and physicality, right? Because in every trench warfare we've done, it's been plays that are there that you just don't hit the layups, right? You go back to the LSU game. I think there was the slant that there was the slant that big receiver number 11.
Gibson.
Yeah, Giovanni Gibson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Catches, nobody's 20 yards around him, and he just falls down. There's that. You've got the great play that Arbuckle's got drawn up to Caden Helms, out there on the 3rd and 1. I think he runs probably to Enid if he gets him the ball. And that was a little 4-yard pass. It wasn't anything
Right.
that was down the field or anything else. It goes just hand in hand with the play that you hit to Burks there. That was a great play by Mateer, getting it out so quick and accurate, and had him in the perfect call and all that kind of thing. I think that Oklahoma just has to take what is there and hit the plays that are there and stay within the system. And I think they'll be successful. I don't think that they've come up against a team that has necessarily outmatched them from a we're just better than you type deal. I think that you look at the injuries that they've had on the offensive line. I mean, nobody's talking about the fact that they've had 3 freshmen playing on the offensive line all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought receipts. We've got proof. If you go back and watch these trench warfare deals where one play you got EPL going the wrong way, one play you got, Foji going the wrong way, looking like he's playing guard instead of tackle. You've got Fasusi didn't get his set right or whatever. It's little cerebral things that sometimes when you're playing a game week after week after week after week after week, that you just get caught up in the routine and you can't catch your breath, right? And you kind of get into the flow of, man, if we could just hit the reset button a little bit and work on some things just to polish some things like that. Because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think that these guys can come out and dominate Alabama. That's not what I'm saying at all. Offensively, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they can have success against Alabama. And I think that if the offensive linemen that Oklahoma has execute and take the correct steps and do the things that Biedenbo's teaching them to do and go the right way, right? That if Mateer makes the right reads, if they haven't, completely vetoed the run pass option part of the offense, if he makes the right reads and pulls it when he needs to pull it instead of giving it when he needs to pull it, and all those things, if they just hit the layups that are there within the system, I don't think Arbuckle's been the issue this year. I think they have stayed with Mateer and believed in him to the point where a lot of people in Sooner Nation don't believe in Mateer.
Right.
But after this is all said and done, right? After this is all
guilty
said
as
and
charged,
done,
man. Guilty as charged.
After this is all said and done, I truly believe that we're going to look back at this thing and we're going to realize how hurt he actually was. I mean, the kid had thumb surgery in the middle of the season, comes back and plays 10 days later.
What do people not realize how that does not happen? Like, players do not get surgery and come
Herbert.
back.
Justin Herbert did it for the Chargers.
It's not on his throwing hand.
I know, but he's still. I know. No. You're right, but I'm just.
Tony Romo like broke his pinky and like quit. Yeah. Like he broke his pinky one year and was just like, I'm done.
It's impressive that he came back in that Texas game. I totally agree.
I mean, it's not point, something that happens.
I know at Oklahoma we don't hand out participation trophies. Mm-mm. We absolutely do not. Mm-mm. And I get that. And unless you're winning every game 85-0 at Oklahoma, you suck, right? I mean, for most of the fan base, it's just that way. That's just how it is. However, I honestly think that they've had a tremendous opportunity over the last 3 weeks to heal up, reset. You hear Venables talking about it a lot, self-scouting, right? Looking at things to where they've got a lot of resources. Do they put together some stuff and say, hey, guys, these are the plays offensively that we left on the field, right? How many of those plays, like what they had against LSU where, Satania's running wide open, that just blows the game open, did they miss this year? How many times did we outline plays where you got Burks running down the stripe and you just doesn't see him? Or we overthrow a guy by a step, or XYZ, and all these things. I just think that if you're able to survive this game, you get another 2 weeks before you have to play Indiana, right? So if you're able to survive this game, that is 5 weeks of practice where you're able to continue to polish and continue to tweak and everything else, because this is going to be played on the 19th. You turn around, the Rose Bowl is a New Year's Day game. And I think the next game is, what is it, 2 weeks after that?
January 9th-ish, 8th, 9th, something like that.
Yeah, so another week. So, I mean, literally, you've got damn near another month to where how much better can you get? I mean, you look at it, that's like having an extra spring ball. If you really want to boil it down and think about it.
Sure.
Right? Because I think there's 21 practices in spring ball, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And they usually spread it out over 4 or 5 weeks and 3 or 4 games here and 3 or 4 games there. And, it's, you hear about Jacob Sexton's getting healthy. He's going to provide a little bit of depth, all these things. Is Barnes going to be healthy? He's been practicing. There's just so many things that are little snippets, and it may just be smoke and mirrors. You don't know what's going to happen, but I think the biggest benefit of this whole thing is that this is still year one, that you're in a new offensive system for everybody except Arbuckle and Mateer. And you're playing with new personnel, guys that are still learning, guys that should have been in their prom, last year, that are a lot of kids. You got kids, man, they're freshmen. How much better are they going to be after this 3 weeks, to where if they just polished everything up and don't make mistakes, how good could they be? I mean, out of all the trench warfare episodes we've done, Rob, how many touchdowns off the top of your head would you say, wide open, missed opportunities, in the last 6 or 7 weeks that we've done these trench warfare podcasts? How many do you think that they've left on the field that are gimmies? I'm talking about when you're out drinking with your buddies and you're golfing, and these are gimme putts, man. These are not, like you got to make a great play. How many gimme putts, TDs?
I think minimum 15.
Yeah, I was going to say 12.
Yeah.
Minimum 12 to 15. Easily.
Yeah.
And it really goes to Mateer. I mean, I think one of his biggest struggle is his pre-snap read. I think it's just where he talks about his eyes or whatever. It's not really. I mean, it's just in all the information before the play, before the snap. There is pre-snap language, pre-snap body language everywhere. It's game planning in the head. It's this down and distance. It's this position in the field. I've studied this defense. This is what they like to do. And him choosing it's his slow process before the snap of trying to ingest all the information he possibly can to determine which side does he want to start from. Which side, where am I picking? Where am I, we talk about on trench warfare, the box counting and run plays, right? Box counting, where do we want to run? Where are numbers advantage? It's the same thing with the passing game too. Is where's my number advantages? Where are they putting their leverage on their corners and their safeties? I feel like, going back and I rewatched, last, maybe the 4 or 5 or so games, And it just seems like he is like choosing the wrong side too often. And when he chooses wrong, that's when he starts to panic. That's where you see the happy feet, because there's a lot of these plays that are just, they're one step, get the ball out, one step, get the ball, one quick drop back, and he chooses wrong, and that one step drop back isn't there. And then what does he do? His eyes go, he's like, it wasn't there. I didn't see what I was supposed to see. And then he panics, and then he's bailing out of a great pocket and running into pressure and all these different things. I feel like if getting him reeled into the offense, he's got to start with this pre-snap read and start ingesting as much knowledge, as much of the language as much as possible, and make those pre-snap reads easier on him. Hike the ball, get the ball out. Hike the ball, get the ball out. And then now you're starting to nickel and dime. Actually, now since I'm talking about it, actually, this play right here. I mean, this is where he actually makes the right read. And we looked at this on Trench Warfare the last time, and here they're LSU's playing, a cloud coverage or a two read. The read and the two receiver corner is going to bite on it, and you see he's got wide open guys streaking downfield. And this is a moment where he actually chose right, and he still didn't deliver. And like, play within the offense, attack the grass, take the grass, read the grass, throw to the grass. If you don't see color, you throw the damn ball. So,
and if he would have stepped up in the pocket there, he could have made that completion. Instead, he tries to bounce it outside here as the play develops. If he just steps up right here, he's got a pass, but he tries to panic and run outside, just what you said, Rob.
yeah,
See that?
that's just like JY said,
that's
there's
stuff that you can correct, right?
yes,
It's not
absolutely.
that's stuff that's correctable. It's not. I don't think Arbuckle has a poorly designed offense. I don't think that he's calling bad plays. I think that he has to get, and this is what you said earlier in the year, Rob, is you said he has to get Mateer reeled in.
Mm-hmm.
He has to get him to calm down. He has to get him to slow down just a little bit, because I think sometimes he goes too fast. He's hearing that on in his mind, be on time, be on time, be on time. He doesn't want to be late, and sometimes he rushes the reads, right? And I understand. I mean, it happens in a split second, especially on that RPO stuff. But when he's on, it looks great.
Yeah.
So, if they can get Canick more involved, if they can hit some of that stuff they hit early in the year, if his hand has had a chance to heal up and he's feeling better about things and he's got a little bit of confidence and his grip, you're not going to be too cold on Friday night. What is it going to be in the 40s or something like that? Yep. So,
yeah,
I mean, opportunities are going to be there. The defense is going to present you with opportunities.
Right.
You just got to find a way to survive.
I think wouldn't it be nice this next month or so that the offense just kind of catches lightning in a bottle? And I know that's a terrible analogy for this offense, I realize. But if we catch lightning in a bottle, all of a sudden Mateer's healthy, he gets his confidence back. The sky's the limit for this team. All of a sudden we're a contender overnight. If that's the case, if all of a sudden we can start moving the ball like we did the first 3 games, Rob, you've talked about it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the gap between where John Mateer is right now and through the regular season and these other quarterbacks is not that wide. These quarterbacks that are in the playoff, Dante Moore's pretty good, but there's not some Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield. There's not like a dominant quarterback that's going to sling it for 20, 30 completed passes and, throw for 450 yards. Like, if he plays competent, I think he's like the 4th, 5th best quarterback in the playoff. And if he's up, right there behind Dante Moore at the end of the playoff, and I just don't feel like there's a huge gap between where for him to improve. Like, it is completely doable. Like, if he heals that hand up and starts playing within the offense, like, this is this is an air raid offense. This is an air raid offense that has proven for the last 15, 20 years to work. It's not, and Arbuckle's in that system, and it works. He just needs to embrace the coaching and let it go. Let it rip. Like all these plays where wide open receivers are running off, just get him the ball. And I don't for him to improve and win a championship for this team is not as great as a gap as other playoffs that we've seen, where there's been playoffs where quarterbacks just go off like a Joe Burrow and they just go off. And I mean, there is no Joe Burrow. The Joe Burrow doesn't exist in this playoff. And I think he has definitely an opportunity to go into these playoffs improved and go win with this great defense, a championship for sure. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I have not been one to say that that he's not good or good enough. I think he is, and we just need to get him healthy and get him his confidence back. Some of those throws are confident throws, like what we just watched. That is just let it rip, like go, like it's open, take it. And you got that safety sitting there on the hash, and that safety, you think he might get there? No, you've got a great arm. You can zip it, man. Get it to him. That safety doesn't. He can be riding that hash as much as he wants. He's not going to get there. Got to believe.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. I've seen it in the last month too. Jalen Hurts lost his confidence a few weeks back,
It happens.
and it killed him in the Charger game. 4 picks and a fumble. It does happen. I just feel like it's been like a really long hangover for Mateer, the last several months because of the injury affecting his head, the physical aspect affecting the mental aspect. I hope you are right. Rob's been listening to me at work, JY. I'm not going to say I've been a Mateer hater. I've just been down on him, and you've called me out with a lot of other Sooner Nation that have been down on him as well. I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I hope I look like a fool. I would love to look like an idiot and say, "Gosh, yes, it was his hand." Affecting everything else. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he comes out, plays like gangbusters on Friday and leads into a victory. It would make me extremely ecstatic.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to say that he's been above reproach in his performance either, right? I mean, he's definitely a lot of the criticism has been warranted, but I think there is a reason if you step back and look at it, and I hate drawing a parallel with a fictional character, but the Kevin Costner movie when he cuts his hand and he's the pitcher and he has a hard time gripping the ball and all those types of things. And we've just seen this whole thing unfold over the course of 7 or 8 weeks. So it's did those 3 weeks help him heal up? You're right, because I think another X factor is has Oklahoma's offensive line matured, and are they going to gel a little bit with Fabechi getting a few more reps at center with, you got a healthy Simmons who has been your best right tackle. Foji, if he knows what he's doing, is playing pretty well at guard. You got EPL, which everybody loves. Everybody loves EPL. Everybody loves Fasusi. So is that offensive line going to take ownership of this game and understand that, they're probably the most important unit in the game, right? If Oklahoma is able to come out and run the football with the mentality with your running backs, with Blaylock and X-Rob, thinking, okay, I got 2 weeks to heal up. I mean, I think I've carried the ball twice in my life, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what the mental makeup of a running back is.
I wouldn't have wanted to be the linebacker or the safety coming downhill to try to tackle you, man.
Yeah, I got to carry a 2-point conversion one time because I was always wearing my coach out,
Right.
So, I mean, I scored, which was cool, but is their mentality, is their approach a little bit different? Are they playing with more of an edge? Is the offensive line playing with more of an edge? Did Kevin Wilson get in that ass a little bit along with Coach Bedenbow and pull them in a room and say, hey, guys, everything we want is in front of us. the performance of 6 or 7 of you guys and how you push Alabama around, if you're able to, is going to determine the success that you have and whether or not you get a ring. They've got a chance to go out and get 3 rings, right? Because they got the Rose Bowl, and then I think it's the Peach Bowl after that, and then a national championship after that.
Right.
They've got a chance to go get three rings in 4 games, right? You know, and I've said it on here before. As an offensive lineman in that mentality, are you going to be the reason that your guys can't do something spectacular? Right? You don't want to be that guy. So you never know what's in between the ears and what a group of guys, when they make up their minds to get something done, what's that going to be like? Because the guys that are on this roster offensively are not chopped liver. I mean, you got a lot of blue chip athletes. Foji, everybody wanted him. Fasusi, everybody wanted him. EPL, everybody wanted him. And now, you know, you had, I think he was second team all conference. Fabechi, everybody wants him. And I think that Simmons could have probably got some accolades if he hadn't been hurt half the season. So,
right.
I mean, you've got some guys with talent. You've got them everywhere. Everybody wanted Kanik. You know, everybody wanted Mateer in the transfer portal this last year. Everybody wanted Blaylock. Everybody wanted X-Rob. Everybody, you know, you've got some absolute dudes that have talent to get this done if they execute, if they play with an edge, because you have a generational defense. I hope this defense becomes the norm. I really hope it does, because how many times have we been on the opposite end of it where we've got this generational offense and you get this pedestrian looking offense coming do. You think of LSU in 2003. There's no way in hell you would have told me that they're going to beat us.
Right.
Right? Do you even know the quarterback's name for LSU in that game? I don't remember.
I don't remember his name.
I don't either. But they beat us.
Yep.
Right? I mean, how many times were we on the opposite end of this thing where somebody had this great defense? Oh, our offense is going to kick their ass, and they slow us down just enough, and they make just enough plays where at the end of the game, we're like, oh, crap, here we go again. You know? So.
Yeah, I dropped the injury update out there, and it looks like Barnes dropped off. He was probable, so Barnes is a go. So it's nice having a third back to rotate this week for sure. I think that'll definitely keep Blaylock and X-Rob healthy, or at least fresh, I should say. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like that. That's the cleanest injury report we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Since probably August.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 3 weeks, I think the 3 weeks is evident right there, if nothing else.
Yeah, it looks like LT Overton is officially out. So
which is good.
That is he's not a
and
huge
if
pass
you,
rusher, but he's a good run defender, man. Like he's got.
Look at that out column, Rob. Do you see a lot of offensive players in that out column? Nope. You see 5 defenders, which just gets me kind of licking my chops if I'm the OU offense a little bit, knowing that they got some of their 2 deep guys out on defense. But do we want to throw out any predictions, or do you have some other questions, Rob?
Well, I want to leave a high note on John Mateer. So I just want to show one play of him. So I broke down his
I got to be
play
right back here, guys. Give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
No, you go for it. No, this is one of my I watched and studied the Washington State offense and enjoyed watching it during the off season and kind of preparing, who was John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle. This is by far my favorite play. And this is just your classic sail. And watch this throw, Brad. It's sail route. Watch this outside receiver here. Watch this throw that John Mateer makes on this. This is against Boise State. This is a 4th and 10, by the way. Late in the game, they're losing. They need to make plays. And watch this throw, and you tell me if this is the same quarterback or not.
Yeah, that looks a little different.
I'm telling you, like he's good. It's just whether it's the hand, and this is a great view of it. I mean, look at his feet. Look how I mean, just patient. I mean, that's just a fantastic throw. I mean, that's a Sunday throw. And I said it on the
you
pod when
might,
we broke it down.
Still a little sidearm, but I'm a critic right now, so I'm the wrong guy to listen to.
JY, you tell me. You're back. You tell me, is this the same quarterback? So he's thrown it to this outside receiver. They're running a sail route to the boundary here. And you tell me, what do you? Is this the same quarterback?
It's pretty good. It looks like first series against Michigan when he puts it down the stripe to Burks.
Yep, exactly.
Right? But you look at his bottom half, right? You look at his bottom half.
Yes.
It's not all over the place, right?
Yep.
Feet are good. He's square.
That's a Sunday throw. I mean, that is a Sunday throw, and that's why, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. It's because he's these throws that he's struggling with to make. He made all last year, and he really made, like you mentioned, those first 4 games before he got hurt. So it's just, I'm trying to be patient. This defense has done so well to keep us in. If that hand is feeling good, and he gets back to his old self, himself, mentally, physically, oh my God, like, get out of the way.
Let me ask you guys a question. You guys always ask me the questions. Let me ask y'all a question. Does Oklahoma win if Michigan John Mateer shows up?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry, we were supposed to hesitate on that, weren't we?
No, I'm asking you mainly, Brad. I already knew Rob's answer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I that's the last game I can remember against a quality team where I was like, yeah, this quarterback can lead us into the playoffs. Yeah. Honestly. And I went to that game. So obviously I'm partial because it was just, it was a great game. Should have won by more. It was, he did good. He played a good football game other than that one pick, I think, that he threw. But
which wasn't his fault, by the way. That really, I mean, but I mean, that was a great game. It was a good game. He was 21-34 for 270 and a touchdown and a pick.
Yeah, man, if this offense could get rolling, then you get rid of that razor thin margin for error all of a sudden, because that's what it is right now, right, JY? There's this razor thin margin for error. We're going to win games by anywhere from 1 to 6 points right now because we can't score 20 points. That's just where we're at currently. But man, if this offense can get clicking, all of a sudden you can get leads in a game. And we haven't seen this team play with like a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter and just pinning their ears back in quite a while that I can remember anyway. So gosh, hopefully we see just a little bit. I don't know about a switch come on or whatever, but just hopefully all this time off, Mateer healthy, like you said, the offensive line healthy, and just reps. The freshmen are now sophomores on that offensive line. Yeah, maybe they come out. And do you remember the who was it we played? Was it Florida State we played in that bowl game a couple of years ago and ran like crazy with Barnes and Salchuk? Mm-hmm. How would y'all like to see that coming out on Friday? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about it, if and I hate to bring up Jackson Arnold, but if Jackson Arnold doesn't turn the ball over 8,000 times and Salchuk doesn't fumble the one in that game, you win that thing. You beat them like a drum.
Exactly.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, it's there to be had, right? It's there to be had.
Yeah. This feels like a 20-16 type game for me. And if that's 6 field goals and a safety, I really don't care how you score the 20 points. I just want to end up on top one more time
Well,
and keep it going.
it's Alabama's favored by 1.5.
They are.
And the over and under is 39.
Yeah, 39-40. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I mean, I like JY mentioned. This is going to be. It's going to be a slugfest.
Grimy. I love that word that Brent
grimy,
uses. They are
dirty,
grimy.
grimy.
We like it dirty. I know that sounds terrible, but we like it dirty, man.
We do.
The dirtier, the better.
We do. And you think, I mean, keep going back to the earlier question, the X factors. What other team in the country has played as many one possession, close games, gritty, ugly, grinded out? We got to win this week, or, Taylor Wine said it best. I think we've been playing playoff football for over a month.
Sure.
Right? Since Tennessee.
Since Tennessee,
basically.
right.
Yep.
They should have beat Ole Miss. If you don't fumble that
Amen.
punt.
Yep.
If you don't fumble that punt, Oklahoma had them. They had them, man. If you don't fumble that punt right there after you get that stop, I think you go down, you score, and you beat them. I think they're a one-loss team with probably a first-round bye.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I still think you shouldn't have lost to Texas either. Like we had so many open opportunities there to bury Texas, but because
what happened
you're
leading up
missing
to
out,
that game?
he had thumb surgery and he
Oh my!
didn't have practice
Did
for
he
3
really?
weeks.
Did he have a
But
surgery?
we could have beaten them. That's what's crazy is that
Did
like
he have thumb surgery? I didn't realize that.
I
he
know.
had,
But
I just
damn,
thought,
that losing to Texas like that, that's just God, those lucky. Like Sark is so damn lucky. So lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky.
DeBoer comes from kind of the Sark mentality. That's what I was talking about at the first
Yeah.
of our pod. You know what I mean? He's not in the locker room. Brent, I wish I could talk like him right now. Just that deep. I want to
Deep,
try to do it right
raspy
now, but it'd
voice.
be the worst thing ever. Yeah. Just, you know what I mean? He's just got that deep, come on, guys, you got it. You know what I mean? He's just, God
well,
dang.
you know why his voice is like that? Because he yells all week long.
Screaming all the time.
Freaking time. Yes. Yeah. No, I worry about him like one of these games just not having his voice in the second half, and it kind of worries me a little bit. They're kind of like, what'd you call just now?
Well, and the other thing I just thought of too is you're not going to have to deal with SEC refs in the playoffs, right?
I think we have Big Ten officials for this
right,
Friday.
so that's going to help, right?
Right. Yep. That's right. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, zebras, man. It's zebras. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were in that stadium against Missouri, the game that we did the live pod, I have, dude, in person, I don't know that I've seen a worsely, I just created a little Scrabble word, a more poorly officiated game than that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both sides. I mean, we got away with some stuff and they got away with some stuff. It was just bad. It was just so bad.
I'm a believer of just letting the players play. Like, just let them play. Like, I know you got to like call like the obvious stuff, but when it's playoff football and you got a receiver and a corner kind of just downfield and they're just, I don't care about that. Just keep it the same for both. Like, don't pick one side and be like, okay, we're going to call it. And then like, oh, yeah. And then they don't see it or don't call it. They see it. There's enough of them on the field to see it. Just let them play. Just let them play. It's playoff football. Just let them play.
I think that favors us if they do call a game like that, honestly.
Absolutely.
We're the aggressor.
Absolutely.
We love physicality. So that plays 100%. Right into our hands. I'm with you, Rob. Let us do that.
I want them just to let us play and just get out and if they want to push us around, fine, we'll push back. I don't care. But like don't do the and really a good reffing crew, a good referee crew will communicate to the coaches before the game and say, we're going to be calling this, we're going to be calling that. This is how we're going to play this. And then early in the game, they will communicate to both teams. Both teams were allowing this, not allowing this with their flags. But what we've gotten with the SEC crap is that it's all over the place. Like Jaden Jackson's personal foul on the quarterback. I forgot what game that was. Where it was it was stupid. It was a bogus call. Like, just either keep it the same for both teams or just let them play. Just let the players figure out how this game's going to go. That's, I always wanted that.
Yeah. And
especially for playoff football.
Sure. And speaking of Jaden Jackson, his name's not on the injury report. He's healthy again. We got our 4-man rotation fully healthy again on that interior, and RMT back for this game. So
at home,
I'm kind of with you, Rob. I don't know if we've seen the best of this defense yet.
We haven't.
Just we've seen flashes of this great defense all year long, but I don't know if we've seen their best complete game yet.
There's going to be some juice on Friday night.
Yeah.
Jay Wise mentioned it, the, playoff football, Hornets Nest. Yeah, man. Like, this is Friday night. I think there's going to be some juice from this defense that we haven't seen. They're going to prove that they're the best unit of football in the playoff on primetime television.
Yep. Hope so.
Send Alabama into mediocrity.
Easy, Rob. Just send them home. Just send them home. That's all I got to say. So, we got anything else we want to cover, or we want to wrap up? I know we're pushing an hour now, and it's past two of our bedtimes here. So,
yeah, I turned into a pumpkin after 9 o'clock.
I'm with you. I'm with you, JY. I wasn't talking about Rob. He's still got some of those young juices flowing. But anything else, Rob? Before we...
No, I got nothing.
Yeah,
it was fun. I think we touched on everything.
Yeah, no, appreciate everyone listening in. Please like and subscribe. I forgot to say it at the beginning of the podcast. You don't have to pull it up, Rob. Yeah, appreciate everyone all year long. I appreciated everyone joining us. Rob and I just sitting here staring at each other all year would not be fun. So I appreciate all the interaction. JY, I have really appreciated you and Alex joining Rob on trench warfare, because you guys are awesome at that. I love it. I'll just sit and listen in my recliner while y'all are doing it sometimes. It's good stuff. Y'all are as good as they get. I told Rob that before. Y'all are awesome at breaking down plays. I believe that. You're up there right with anybody. So appreciate you, JY. Yep, you bet. You bet. Hopefully we can do maybe a pregame and maybe a postgame on Friday. There may be some vulgarities postgame if things don't go our way, but we'll see how that works out on Friday. So appreciate everybody joining us, and Boomer Sooner, and we will see everyone possibly Friday.
Boomer.
Hey, hey. That is my standard. Champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah. Run my place, ayy. Keep up with the pace, ayy. If you don't got motion, then stay up out of my face, ayy. I be doing a race, ayy. 100 yards out of the way, ayy. It's time to lock in the field, baby. It's game day. 7 rings you can't handle. I'm on a champion man too. Welcome to my standards. Maybe that's something you can't do. Maybe try a different angle. Maybe try a different play too. When you know you're the greatest, some people might hate you. Champ, yeah, I'm the champ. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Don't gotta put on a hat. Titles, you know we got that. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Hang my jersey in the rafters. I'm a champ. Champion standard. I'll tell you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. Put up or shut up, you know it's competitive. We will not ever take losses. Yeah, I be playing the game, but at heart, you know I am just really a boss. Youngin' or boomer, don't matter who's on the field, everybody getting sauce. Get down with the team, cause we really one-on-one, yeah. Hey, I'm the man, hey, I'm the man, yeah. Watch how we make fans, while we also make this cash, hey. When it comes to plays, there isn't what we haven't ran, yeah. Competition's getting body, that's no capping. Champ, yeah, I'm the champ, yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. jersey in the rafters, I'm a champ. Champion standard, champ. Yeah, I'm the champ. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard, don't gotta put on a hat. Titles, you know we got that. Yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard, yeah, I'm the champ. Champion standard. Hey, my jersey in the rafters, I'm a champ. Champion standard. I told you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. I told you nobody's safe when it's time for game day. Champion standard, and we don't play. Champion standard, and we don't play.